Anyway, good morning.
Good morning.
I want to say thank you for showing up today on your days off. And for some of you who don't know who I am, I'm going to introduce myself. My name is Marie Bauman. I've been a REDKEN artist since 2011. I'm also a salon owner. I've owned Salon Echelon for 10 years. I'm passionate about what I do. I love our industry. And that's it. I mean, I really, truly love what I do. I'm passionate about what I do. And, you know, everything that I learn, I just want to share it with the world. So, are you guys excited about today?
Yes.
A little louder?
Yes.
Okay. We're gonna be doing a class today on balayage. And I know that you guys are familiar with balayage. There are different ways of doing balayage. There's the classic way, and today I'm going to show you a modern way of doing balayage. That's called Fifth Avenue balayage. So, anyway, before we begin, I just want to go over a couple of things. We have a few little rules that I want to discuss. If you ladies have to get up at any time to use the restroom is in the back. You can get up, you don't have to interrupt. Everybody, you're here learning, so try to be courteous to the person that's sitting next to you. Cell phones, I would like for you to put them on vibrate. If you want to take pictures of the flip chart, that's cool. I'm cool with that. Okay. I also put together a little packet that I'm going to hand out, and for notes and stuff, so that you guys can take this back with you. At the end of this little packet, I have a questionnaire that would be helpful for me if you can fill this out, because it just helps me to be the best that I can be, so that I can do my job well. The other thing that I wanted to go over with is we're going to do this for about an hour. We're going to be talking about theory. Then I'm going to break you guys for about 15 minutes. You have a choice of two 15-minute breaks, or after the 15-minute break, we're going to come back. We'll do a little more, and then I can break you guys for an hour lunch. But it's totally up to you. If you want to do the 15 minutes and not have a lunch break, I'm leaving it on you ladies.
Yeah, I think we'll just go through the class.
Okay, so you're good with that?
Yeah.
For many years, REDKEN had started, back in California, and then there was an earthquake. And then REDKEN relocated to New York City, our home, New York City, which is awesome. And they've been around since 1960s. And for education, I have to tell you that we are #1 in education. We have education on demand. You go to redken.com and register. I know that you have. You can take classes online. We also have the REDKEN Exchange in Manhattan. You can sign up for classes there. There's so much material out there for us to help you. It's just basically a touch of the finger and you could take a class, So I just want that you ladies know that. So when you leave today, it's not, your education shouldn't stop here. You should continue your education, because that's super important in this business. If you want to grow and be successful, it is all about educating yourself and trying to stay one step ahead of the next person that you work next to in your salon. Are we good with that?
Yeah.
All right, so let's begin. So today we're going to learn about Fifth Avenue balayage. But first I'm going to talk about hands-free pre-lightener for an open-air technique. So our product that we just recently came out with, which is this. The wonderful thing about this product is, besides the fact that it's hands-free, okay, creamy lightener for an open-air technique, specifically formulated for open-air balayage. So in other words, you don't need to use foils, you don't need to use any kind of plastic, like saran wrap. It lifts up to 6 levels. It's a perfect consistency, ideal balance on, and one thing that I love about this product is that it's very balanced, and the outside of this product actually dries like a shell, but the inside stays moist and helps. Right, so it's keeping, if the whole thing dries out, what happens?
Stops processing.
Exactly. High five to you. That's great. So being that it stays moist is great, you know, so you're going to have a more even lift, you know, and you know, I mean, I think that's just a big aha for me, because I love the fact that, because I hate when you work with certain lighteners and you do a balayage, you know, it's all cracking and falling all over the place. You know, this is really nice. It stays in place. It dries beautifully. You could just walk away, set your timer, and you know, when the time is ready, then you rinse. An active ingredient in this product is ceramides, which, does anybody know what ceramides do? It helps to strengthen the hair to prevent breakage. So that ingredient is mixed into this product. So it's a lightener. We all know that when we lighten our hair, the hair does become slightly distressed. This is actually going to be conditioning and protecting the cuticle from breakage. So I think that's a great ingredient. Mixing this process, mixing and processing. We're gonna run by this later on, okay? But you guys could just jot this down. So it's 1 part to 1.5 peroxide. So we have our own designated developer, which would be this. And actually today, we're going to be using 40 volume, only because we are working on our mannequin head. So keep in mind when you're doing a client, you know, you can use 10, 20, 30, and 40, up to 40 volume. Okay. When you measure this out in grams, the 1 part is going to be about 40 grams, and your liquid part will be 2 ounces, and that will be the mixture. You have to be on point when mixing. It's crucial. I've made a few little errors myself, you know, because I like to kind of like break the rules a little bit and see what happens. Super, super important to make sure that the mixture is exactly what it needs to be. Are we good with that? Do you have any questions? Timing. Timing on this product is up to 50 minutes. So what does that mean exactly? Does that mean that you put the product on for 50 minutes and then just walk away from your client?
The furthest it's going to lift is up to 15
Up
minutes?
to 50 minutes, correct. So again, your starting level is going to be crucial, and you're going to know, do I want to leave this product on for 30 minutes, or do I want to do it for 40, or do I want to do it for 50? So 50 is that ultimate lift. Depends on who you're doing, how much of a lift you're looking for. Would you say that it's super important to do a consultation before doing a balayage? How would you, what are the things you would look at for doing that consultation?
Well, the hair type, how light they want to go.
How much long we want to see.
Right. So basically knowing the person's lifestyle is going to play a very big role. If we have somebody that's a little dramatic and wants to be very blonde like myself, balayage is not the right technique for me because I want to be really blonde. Are we in agreement on that?
Yeah.
So to do balayage is more of a very natural, soft look in the hair. So here we have Ellie. Ellie, say hi to Ellie.
Anyway.
So she has the technique that you girls are going to be learning today. So I did the Fifth Avenue balayage on her. See how soft and pretty the tones are? They're not really like in your face, like as if you did a regular highlight. And so pretty much that's the idea. So who do you think would be that client that would want something like this?
Maybe somebody that wants a little change but is like more natural.
Right?
Doesn't want something too dramatic. Somebody that's scared to do something different.
Yes, that's perfect.
Maybe someone, you know, for work, they can have crazy hair, but they want a little something different.
Perfect, yep. Or you might even get that client that is really young, wants a highlight. Their mom is like, no foils, no highlights. And you're able to talk that mom into having her young teen do something very soft like this, you know, and you just can explain to them, you know, exactly what it is. And the other thing is, I feel this type of technique is great on a client that is very low maintenance.
Yeah, less of a upkeep.
Right, and why? Because it's such a smooth, like melting through the existing tone with the ends being light. It's just so soft, and so when this grows out, it's not like they're gonna look like they have roots really. It's gonna be very natural. It's gonna sort of be something like what the sun did to the hair, right?
Yeah.
You know, later on we'll talk about if somebody absolutely loves this technique and you need to go back in to retouch it, it's not that difficult. You know, we'll discuss that later on in class, all right? But yeah, so somebody that's low maintenance, sometimes I even call those people tree huggers. You know, they want a little bit of something, but they really don't want to, you know, be married to having to do their color every 4 to 6 weeks. So, you know, anyway, moving along, I feel like that's just a great technique to do on those type of clients. All right, so 50 minutes for timing, no heat. Okay, so Fifth Avenue balayage. Balayage, what does it mean? It's a technique that mimics the sun and the light that play on the surface of the hair. Understand that? So balayage is a French word, originated in France. So just like think about how you use different ingredients to get your end results for a recipe. Today we're going to talk about a different technique, a different way, a different approach on how to do balayage. Your typical balayage, when applying, it's all done in the same exact way. Have you done a balayage before? And so what type of balayage have you done? What's your technique? Share it with us.
You know, just painting it on the pieces.
Right, just random pieces, right? And same for you?
Yeah, as far as like the sectioning, it was just kind of layered on top of each other.
Yeah.
But pretty much everything is pretty much the same,
Yeah.
right? If they have any balayage, REDKEN decided to change it up a little bit, okay, and put together some sort of a pattern that's not so, well, it's perfect, but it's not all the same. In other words, let's think about music. If we had one note throughout a whole entire song, how would that be?
Four.
Exactly, because it's the same thing.
Yeah.
So your classic balayage, it's the same thing throughout the whole entire head. So REDKEN decided to maybe change up the notes a little bit. Okay, so let's take a look at the different notes in Fifth Avenue balayage. So what they did was they came up with triangular shapes, which we're going to talk about. Some were large, some were medium, and some were small. Again, take a look at the different notes in balayage. If you have different notes, it's a different flow, right? So I'm just gonna grab my head real quick. So here are the different sectionings. See that? So we have some large notes, we have some medium notes, and then we have some small notes. which is kind of cool because as we're going along and we start breaking it down and going into the sectioning, and I kind of show you where the placement of the product is going to be, you're going to see how it's just going to really, it's just touching the surface of how the sun would actually hit the head. So we're going to be talking about, it's called a point light reference, which we're going to get into. We're going to dive into that. I know it can be a little confusing. So sectioning, this will allow us to go in and work on the surface of the hair and in the front and the back, like I just explained. Actually, let me just bring her over here. Because you have your sectionings in the front, you have sectionings in the crown, the back, okay? And again, we're going to have some large, we're going to have some medium, we're going to have some small. So it's just, you know, large, medium, small. It's like you're taking different notes in the hair, okay, to create a really cool effect. All right, so elevation. In a classic balayage, the sectioning is the same all over. We just discussed that. At a 45-degree elevation, it's always the same. This method does not allow you to get close to the root. When you do a balayage, how close do you get to the root? Honestly.
Probably an inch or more away from the root.
Right, you're not really getting in there, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So, with that being said, do you sometimes come into a little bit of a problem with how it's blended, how, you know, your starting level with the product, the lightener part?
Yeah.
Do you sometimes see that line of demarcation a little bit? I know I do.
Yeah.
And I like it, but then I'm like, I don't love it. So Fifth Avenue balayage is also the other flip side to doing this way of doing it. It allows you to get a lot closer into the root area. And when you're able to do that, it's a really nice way of diffusing the starting level, your tone, with the color that you're putting into lighting. It just kind of like melts into each other very softly. Again, something like what the sun would do. Okay? So, our way, Fifth Avenue, helps for you to get closer. And the definition, of balayage means to sweep. Did you know that?
No.
Because when you're using your brush, well, when you do your balayage, how do you do it? Do you go in like this when you're applying, when you're doing the color? Is that how you do it? Are you doing it like this with your hands? Like, you know, everybody has their way.
Yeah.
But the correct way, really, is to go in, and you want to use, very lightly, you want to just kind of sweep the product on. And you don't want to be going really up and down. It's just basically in one direction, like this. That's what it means. It means to sweep. So think about that when you're doing this. You want to go very, very lightly. If you were playing violin, your music is going to be very soft, right?
Yeah.
But if you're playing a guitar and you're strumming really fast, it's going to sound a lot stronger, right? So very delicate. You want to be very delicate. So if you have a heavy, heavy hand, and I know that there are a lot of people out there that have a heavy hand, maybe the key word will be pretend that you're playing the violin. Okay? You'll do very, very softly. Any questions?
No.
Okay, so here we go. If you sweep soft, your results will be seamless. If you sweep firm, your results are going to be oversaturated. You won't have control, because that's what happens. When you go in there and you're like an animal, and I know sometimes when we're pressured, you know, because you got another client coming in, you know, like, oh my God, I got 20 minutes. You're like, you know, taking the product and you're just slapping it on there. You don't want to do that. You know, this is such a beautiful technique, And you wanna keep that in mind, that, you know, it could be, like, you could do something like this, and trust me, clients will see your client walking around with this beautiful look, and will say, wow, you know, I love your color, you know, where do you go, whatever. That's how you build your book. You build your book from people referring people, you know, so you want your work to look amazing. Again, it's just like playing an instrument. Like I said, you go in and you're, it's gonna be not so pretty. But if you go in and you're like very delicate, you'll get a beautiful look. Okay, now we're gonna talk about, to answer your question earlier, our point of light. So, our point of light. I'm going to just take one out so I can show you. So, in the front section here, when we go in and put that product in, where's my marker? Well, this isn't going to be bright enough. We're going to do 1 point of light. I really need a dark marker. We're going to do 1 point of light, so it's going to look something like this. So we're going to go in, and you are going to actually make 1 point. That's going to be a point right there, 1 point of light. Can you see that? Mm-hmm. And you're going to go in on a diagonal. This section, okay, is a V. So that's how you find yours when we go in to actually do those sections. You're going to always make the like peace sign. And you're just going to go and you're going to place your fingers, and that's going to show you exactly, you know, how the sectioning needs to be. So now, if we go in and we do 1 point of light, so this is the right, no, excuse me, this is the left front. You're going to put the product like that, which I'm going to show you, and then you're going to brush it all on. So when this falls, this is going to frame exactly like around the face. So you're going to have, because people want to see something a little bit softer and lighter in the front, right? So that's your first point of light. In the back, we're going to do, in the back here, we're going to do, this too is going to be 1 point of light in the crown. We've been in here for a while, so. So back here, we're going to be doing the same thing. We're going to be going in and we're going to be doing 1 point of light. So it's going to look like this back here. Okay? And the reason for that is that when this falls down, it's going to blouse over the whole entire crown. So you're going to get a splash of light throughout the whole entire back. So on this, here's your 1 point. And so all this is what's going to get done, okay? On your sides, which is this, is going to be 1 point. Understand? You're not going to go in and do 2 points because your section is so small, okay? So that's it. You know what? As the sections get smaller, it's going to be 1 point like of reference. Your wider sections, even though like the back, we're going to do the 1 point, but we're going to go out a little bit deeper.
Yeah.
And we're gonna be able to get the back a little bit more product, obviously, because this is like the biggest section is really this area right here, okay? The front, you can't do two, if you did 2 points of light of reference on the front, like this, how's that gonna look? You're gonna kind of sort of have a holiday in there, right? It's not gonna really flow. But if you do the 1 point, you're covering that whole section around the face. Like this. You're gonna be doing it like that.
And then you get that nice light piece.
Right, and then
on the
it's, right,
face.
you're gonna do this, you're gonna be doing from this point to this point, and all that's gonna be getting done, and it's gonna, all this is then gonna fall around the face. That's the idea. And then this side, you're gonna do that, and then that's gonna fall all over. That's, when the hair's down, it's kind of gonna softly frame around the face. So the whole thing is, you know, getting that visual of when you go in and you place those pieces, you have to get that, have that concept, that understanding. Okay, so if I go in and I do this, I'm gonna look at it and this is what's gonna happen. When this hair falls, yep, I'm gonna get what I'm looking for. So even if you kind of get a little confused, just take a few seconds to figure out, don't just go in there and do your point of light. You know, figure out if I go in and I do it like this, or if I do it like this, what's gonna happen. It kind of makes sense when you start doing it. When you first start doing it, you get a little confused. But then when you start doing it, it just all of a sudden it just clicks and it totally makes sense. Any questions? You guys excited?
Yeah.
So just to go over how this works. So, mine is a little different. So the little crank that you have on the side helps for this to go up and down, okay? The little, this little thing right here on the top, you see that? That helps to move your head back and forth. Okay? I have something else on this that you guys don't have. One second. The one that I have is just a little different. Yeah, okay, so now if you unscrew the little screw that you have it, like if you don't want to sit there cranking, there's a little screw. If you unscrew it, you can come up and down. A lot quicker and a lot easier. Okay. All right? We got that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Needs to-
Keep in mind with your heads,
Yeah. We have the face facing us.
you ladies can do it however you want. I'm going to be facing you ladies. Okay? I have to work a little different. So you definitely, without a doubt, you want to be able to look on top. And then as you move down on your panels, you're going to then bring it back up. All right, so the first thing that we're going to do is that we're going to find our center part. And so doing this technique, globally, I would say to always start in the middle. The reason being is that then that client can go to the left, can go to the right, can wear their hair in the middle. You don't want to just go in and do a side part, okay? So I think that would be the best thing to do. You are going to get that part nice and neat. Okay. Now I want both of you to see this, so Marcy, you might want to just come over here, right there. So you're not in the way of the camera. You're going to take your comb, and you are going to, the corner of the eye is going to be your guide, okay? And you're just going to come up on a diagonal. And your section should look like this. You see that? Remember your V?
triangle is here.
Yes. That's going to be your first section.
And then where does it go to, like the top of the head, the point? Like how far back does it go?
Okay, so here, you're going to take your comb. Right where the comb comes off is where your point is going to be.
Okay.
Your starting point from the top. This is not considered the crown, this is considered the top of your head, okay? So these are like the principles that you should know, all right? So I'm going to secure this section. I like to use rubber bands.
You're gonna use that.
You ladies do, you could use a clip if you'd like. That's gonna be my very first section. When we have that first section in, just give me a holler.
Should I go in for the second
Not yet.
front piece? Okay.
So you got your first section in? Okay, perfect. I'm gonna go around and check everybody. Perfect. This is really good? This way.
Do you think mine is too small?
No, perfect. Let's see if we can get it. Oh, you're good. Listen, even though they're the same mannequin heads, but
Yeah.
the whole density on her hair is a little bit different than her hair. So
Yeah.
every head, listen, all the sectionings, sometimes people have larger shaped heads, so your sections are gonna be slightly larger, some are gonna be slightly smaller. Don't worry about that, okay? So now we're gonna go in and we're gonna do our next section. Remember the corner of the eye, we're on the left side front, and you're just gonna do this, look, boom. That's your next section. All right, so look, this was your first section, okay? This is gonna be your second section,
Okay.
okay? Keep in mind the whole back crown, when you're doing the back. So actually, I can come in a little more here, hang on. The back should look like that.
Okay.
Nice and neat, okay, you see that? Okay.
You just tell me if I'm doing this.
Okay.
Right.
Listen,
Like, is that?
let me see the back again. Yep, you're perfect. Because look what's happening, you see how you're having,
Yeah.
okay? And when you're not sure, you just want to take your fingers and you just want to place it.
Yeah.
And then you, like visually, look. Because this, you're gonna go in and you're gonna do, this is gonna be 2 points of like reference on here. You're gonna have this and this, okay? And then when this comes down, you're gonna have a spread of color. This is gonna be 1 point of light.
Yeah.
You're gonna go in between and put in those little medium and small little notes that I was talking about. So
Okay.
you're perfect here,
Alright.
okay? Let me see what you have. How are we doing on that? And you too, you're good. This is good, perfect. Okay. And you don't want this section to be bigger or the same as this because the idea is the different notes, right? Large, medium, small. Just keep saying that to yourself. You want to leave that out. Look, I don't even need a comb. You just, boom.
Yeah.
Bam! Like, what's his name from the cooking show? What's his name? Emerald. Bam! There you go. Let's see, let's redo this one too. This comes right there. Your next section right there, so you do that. Okay, and then I think we're good. All right. So, mixing. You ladies are ready, come on over. So I had already measured out, the powder has to be measured in grams, so you're gonna need a scale. Okay, so I already did that. And the liquid is gonna be exactly 2 ounces. So it's 40 grams of dry and 2 ounces of liquid. Okay. So we're gonna start with the right front, okay, diagonal back. So, okay, so I'm not gonna hold it this way. I'm gonna just slightly come back just a little bit. And I'm gonna take my hand and I'm not gonna pinch it so it's like this, but I'm gonna try to keep this kind of smooth and somewhat flat, but I am gonna secure this with a little bit of tension. You don't wanna be like this, you wanna be like this, okay? Remember that we're doing 1 point of,
Like,
right. So, you are going to put some of the product on the back of your hand, that. And you're gonna come in a little heavy here first. And then you're going to kind of move it up like that. So see what I'm doing? So the biggest trick here is that you don't want to see any of the hair underneath, the color. You want to make sure that it's really, really very well saturated. And you want to make sure that you get the sides really good. Notice how I'm going very gently, right?
yeah.
Okay. Then you're going to take your pinky and you're going to use the back part of it and you're going to actually kind of diffuse the product into the existing color, like that. Very, very light. Okay, and then you're going to take a cotton and you're going to place it underneath and secure it. And now the elevation is going to change. You're going to come down. So it's just sweeping the product on very gently.
And you keep the tension the whole time?
Yep, you want to have a little bit of tension. And then right when you get to about this part here, you're going to come underneath with your brush and you're going to add product underneath. And you're going to take your fingers very lightly. You want to really, really saturate the underneath really well. And remember, you kind of want to go heavy with the product, okay? That is a trick. And then you want to just come down, and that's your first piece. This is where these little paper towels come into play. Okay. So now we're going to do your next section. I'm going to go in and I'm going to take the one that's in between. I'm going to start at the bottom here. Just want to move this out of the way. Okay. So I'm going to go here. And this is going to be 1 point of light. We're not going to do this, we're going to do this. 1 point. So it's the same thing. So actually, excuse me for a minute, I have a little brush somewhere. So we're going to do the same thing. We're going to take product, put it on the back of your hand so that you can go back in and charge up your product, your brush with product. You're going to hold the hair at a what?
45
With a little bit of
Tension.
right? And we're going to go in and, so you want to put more product here. Like that. gonna take your pinky and you're just going to diffuse product. With the back of your pinky, you take a cotton, you're gonna go in and you're gonna secure. You're gonna change your elevation. And see, if you go too heavy with your stroking, what happens is it takes the product off, you know what I'm saying? You don't want to do that. So very, very, very light. And you're going to come underneath. Very lightly. I'm going to bring that down. And you're going to go to your next section. And we're going to do another what?
Point of light?
Yep. And make sure you get your sides in here. And if you can't see, you come around me, you can come in a little closer. See how thick I'm laying this on?
Yeah.
It's not going to drip, it's not going to go anywhere. So you definitely want to be very generous with the product when you use it. And that's it. So, now it's your turn. I'm going to have you ladies mix. All right, so remember, we don't want to do this. We want to just keep it sort of flat and just a little bit of tension, okay? And you're holding the hair at a what?
45 degree angle.
That was very confusing.
45 degree angle. 45.
Okay. You want to take your product, you want to put it on the back of your hand. Just makes it easier. You want to charge up your brush with your product and you want to put, you know, be generous when applying the product on, when you're first putting it on.
And for this side, the,
So look, we're going to do one point of light and we're going diagonal back,
okay.
okay? So as soon as you get that product on, remember, be generous with it. You want to take the back of your pinky before you move down, still holding the hair with a little bit of tension, and you're just slightly brushing up. You're diffusing the product into the existing hair above it. So it's like this. It's a very light.
Is my angle right?
You want to be like this. Let me see. Yeah, that's good. Good there. Okay. And then, when you're done doing that, you want to take your cotton and you want to fasten it underneath. You want to secure it. And now you're changing the elevation. Now you're coming down. And you're sweeping on the product. Make sure to get your sides really good. And then you want to come underneath.
Can you like sweep the, like when you're blending it, can you go as high as you want with your pinky when you're?
Yeah, you want to get as close to the root. That's kind of the idea of this. Let me come over to you. All right, so hang on one second. Let me just see what what Sam's doing.
Do you think I need like more of that?
Yeah, so here, so you might have wanted to do more like that,
Okay.
more of an angle next time, but it's okay. And when you keep your, it's important to keep your elevation like this when you're doing this. And you wanna, like, move it up, don't be afraid,
Okay.
like that, okay? Then you wanna put your cotton underneath, you wanna secure that, and then you wanna change the elevation. Then you're gonna start to apply your product, and then you're gonna switch, and you're gonna make sure that you saturate both sides,
Okay.
okay? Like that. You good? Okay. You come over here. All right, you started already doing that. Here, sorry. Get behind you. Okay, so the same thing like I said to your sister. This could have been more on an angle, like a real diagonal. Diagonal. Okay, and then you're just gonna, and don't worry about, like, that's how you wanna do it, like this. Like that, okay?
Okay.
So now you wanna take the cotton, you wanna secure underneath. Okay, you wanna do that. And then you want, perfect. And then you wanna change the tension and the angle, the direction. And now you wanna add your product. And then when you come to about this point right here, you wanna apply the product on top and also underneath, okay?
Does that look okay?
Yep, perfect.
Okay.
Just you wanna diffuse it a little more
Okay.
at the top, so you want it to be seamless. Okay? And if you left it the other way, it wouldn't be seamless. Okay, let me see how you're doing it with your pinky. Yeah, you don't want to use the point of your pinky, you want to use this part,
Okay.
like this, look. Show you. So you want to use the whole back of your pinky, like that,
Okay.
okay? And you want to secure it. You want to even add a little bit more product up there.
Okay.
Remember, you don't really want to see the hair so much, you want it to be really white.
Okay.
Okay, that's kind of the trick.
This one?
That's yours.
Okay.
And you already have some on the back of your hand, so, you know, it's I like to do that because you can just keep going back and charging your brush and you don't have to keep dipping into the bowl,
Okay.
all right? How we doing, we good? You guys having fun?
Yeah.
Are you girls having fun?
Yes.
Are you ladies gonna be balayage experts?
Yeah.
All right, so we're gonna do a little debrief, okay? So, how do we feel about the whole sweeping part of this? What's your thought on that?
I thought it was cool. I thought it made sense as to why you would only stay on the surface
Okay.
and be gentle.
I think it was easier to not really mess up and, oversaturate the hair when you're applying the lightener.
Okay, great, those are great answers. And doing the diffusing with your pinky, did we have a difficult time with that?
I did a little bit,
Okay.
but it
So share
definitely needed to do that, to blend it. But I was using the tip of my pinky at first,
Right,
instead
and
of my
not
whole pinky.
not using your whole pinky,
Yeah.
so using your whole pinky
Yeah.
is giving you even pressure,
Mm-hmm.
right, to make that diffusing that seam.
Yeah.
When you just use your little pinky like this, you're only doing a little bit.
Yeah.
So the idea here is not to be afraid,
Mm-hmm.
okay, because you really want that blend. So you gotta like really push on it. Not heavy, but not so light either,
Yeah.
okay? And as far as the saturation of the product too, did you have a little difficult time with that? You know, like really going in there and really applying the product? Did you find that to be a little bit challenging or not challenging?
Well, it's just different, as far as the heavy layer.
Mm-hmm.
With like, regular balayage, you don't really do that, you wanna see some hair in between. With this, you don't at all, so.
Right, so why do you think, what's the reason why we need for you to apply the product a little heavier?
Well, with the tension and putting the heavy layer when the hair falls, it's little light highlights, so it doesn't really matter that you're putting the full layer, because with the tension, it's just the very top. Then it spreads when it falls, so it's not like it's a big chunk of light hair.
Okay, that's one reason.
Well, I think because your placement, like, you want it thick, so it's exactly where you placed it on, like, the surface of the hair.
Okay, so that's another good answer. Because the fact that the product itself is going to dry on the outside like a shell, you would think that you would need a lot of product on there to make sure that there's that cushion
Yeah.
so that the outer shell can dry and the inner shell can stay moist. So if you only apply a thin coat of product,
Yeah.
what do you think could happen?
It'll dry out.
It'll dry out. I mean, I'm sure it's going to stay a little bit moist, but it's not going to really work the way that the product is intended to work.
Yeah.
Okay? So are we good with that?
Yeah.
Do you have any questions?
No.
When we were discussing the challenges with our point of light, it was a little confusing. Do we have a good understanding about this now?
Yeah.
Yeah, once you like saw it on the head, it made more sense.
Right. And exactly where you took your sections, like your front, your right and left diagonal back, because look, when you're doing that, the hair is framing around the face, so that kind of makes sense to do that first section that way,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And then all the other notes in between, they kind of all make sense because when you look at the top of the head, again, it's all about placement. It's where it's all going to happen. And then you see on the ends where I had you go in and really apply that product a little heavier. The ends give you a nice flick of, it's a little lighter on the tips. Kind of sort of what the sun would do to this.
Yeah.
That's the idea. The idea is for it to not look like you did something, you altered this woman's natural color. We want to create an illusion of something very, very natural. And that's really what balayage is all about. Some people take it a step further and they're like, they do the balayage and then it's like not enough. And then they go back in and they do it again and then it becomes blonder and blonder. And then it starts to look really more like an ombre, And that's not the idea here. So that's the one thing, when you do your consultations with your clients, you have to be very clear on what this technique is all about and what the end results are going to do. You want to set yourself up to be successful. And having that communication with that client is super important. I myself know that if you don't communicate, especially when it comes to color, because everybody looks at color a little bit different than we do as colorists. They have a different take on, I could look at a blonde and that client that's blonde says, my hair's really red. There's no red in her hair. I don't know what she's saying, but there's no red. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, again, I'm huge on, it's important to do your consultations prior to doing any service. And as a Redken Concept Salon here at Salon Echelon, we are into, what do we do prior to color? We do a lot of, we do our consultations, but prior to doing the consultations, we do treatments, we do post-treatments. We prepare the hair for the chemical breakdown.
Okay.
And then after they get their hair colored, we have post-treatments. And then we send them home in a regimen. We make our recommendations of products that they should be using. For instance, you know, after doing a service like this service, excuse me, we want to recommend Extreme shampoo and conditioner for the plain reason that it is protein and it is what's getting broken down a little bit into the hair, and we want to kind of replenish the cuticle with this. Okay, shampoo and conditioner, and then like I said, we also have Blonde Idol. So you're not really familiar with our whole product line, but we're becoming Blonde Idol is a whole line of different products. We have one product that softens the base, so it's a base breaker. We have a high lift single process blonde, which is Blonde Idol. And now we have the hands-free lightener that we use today. So we have a bunch of different components, and it all falls under the category of Blonde Idol. All our lighteners, it's all married into the same family. Because Redken, we're the blonde authorities on creating the best look for a blonde. So, with that being said, do we have any questions about anything that you guys want to add?
No.
Nothing? It's all good?
Yeah, it's good.
Okay, so did you enjoy your class today?
Yeah,
definitely.
Did you learn something?
Yeah.
Turn to each other and say, I learned something today.
I learned something today.
Awesome. All right, so we're going to do hands in the middle.
Okay.
You ladies want to get up? Hands in the middle. What's the word for today? On the count of 3, we're going to shout out the word. What's the word for today? Balayage. Let's say balayage.
Okay.
Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Balayage.
Yeah, cool. We like to do that. That's our little thing.